Hey everyone, what is going on? I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy, and today we're going to be discussing the second Capricorn full moon that we had during Cancer season. So we had the first Capricorn full moon on June 21st, and this second Capricorn full moon at 29 degrees on July 21st. So I'm filming this on Monday. I trust I'll be getting it out later today. So this would have been yesterday for most of us on Sunday. If you want to watch part one, you can go back to Stillwater Alchemy's YouTube channel, click there as a good retrospective. And also just for those of you who are learning astrology, learning what these transits mean, especially lunations in your specific natal chart, you can look to the house ruled by Capricorn. What was going on around June 21st? What has culminated or what has climaxed in a way with this full moon now? Because having two full moons in the same zodiac sign during a zodiac season is very rare. It is a blue moon. So the phrase once in a blue moon, that is what we experience. And of course, with the news, we've seen a very prominent news article come out with the US and their politics, with Joe Biden stepping down and endorsing Kamala Harris. And this can speak to the themes of Capricorn, right? We're thinking of an earth sign ruled by Saturn. So structures, boundaries, tradition. And we can all think about that in our own lives, and especially in that Capricorn ruled part of our natal chart. What needs to be doubled down in terms of certain structures, boundaries, limitations, and what can be released to then bring in something new. I was talking about over the weekend, and I'll recap it again here on this video, that there are so many transits hitting Pluto in and around this full moon that weren't happening during that first Capricorn full moon on June 21st, right? I'll give a fun personal example of this. So I'm a Capricorn rising, and Capricorn specifically is a zodiac sign that rules the teeth. I found a fabulous, amazing goddess of a dentist during the Cancer new moon in between these Capricorn full moons. And I've been going back, like, got my assessment, went for a cleaning. And during the cleaning, she found in one of my cavities something that gave her pause, that she thought that it was an old cavity filling and that there was a cavity underneath. So they wanted to remove that cavity, just see if there was something that needed to be filled, which I went and got that done today while the moon is in Aquarius, making very good aspects to Mars and Jupiter for those of you who know about electional astrology. I bring that up because that was an old feeling. I think I got that done when I was 12, 13, 14. So that was a cavity that was close to 20 years old, something that had to be released under this Capricorn full moon to then make space. And you can take this if it resonates, but whenever I see clients or even myself getting dental work, mouth work, anything in and around our throat chakra, it means there's going to be an expansion or healing around your voice, around your self-worth connected to your voice. So that can be something as well. And you can even look parts to if you had braces or dental work or any kind of facial surgery in the past. Was that a time for you to expand or to heal your voice and your throat chakra? And it makes sense. I've been doing a lot more voiceover work and training. So the fact that this all came about during a very prominent full moon in Capricorn makes sense. So I want to show you the chart with this Capricorn full moon to discuss a little bit more about this. Now, as I mentioned already, that full moon happened at 29 degrees. The 29-degree mark can also be known as the arenetic degree, the critical degree. So a closing out, right? Even just without knowing all of these terms, it's the moon at the final degree of Capricorn. And it's making an out of sign conjunction with Pluto in Aquarius, while also Mars, having ingressed into Gemini earlier, is now making a trine to Pluto. So if you wanted to go even deeper, you can look to the houses ruled by Cancer, given that the moon rules over Cancer, and then the houses ruled by Aries and Scorpio, given that Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars, because those houses can be intertwined in this full moon as well. It may not be as loud or as prominent, but they're definitely involved. And anything with Pluto can speak to themes around death and rebirth, power, abuse, wealth, and just, I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the previous traits, but the truth, like that in all of those things, death, rebirth, power, abuse, the truth is always going to be that barometer. Are people telling the truth? Are we telling the truth? Is that something that's important or not? Are you trying to cover up the truth? What is your truth? Like, that is something, as if we're talking about these Capricorn themes of structure, stability, tradition, boundaries. If you know your truth, if you're staying authentic, it'll be easier to align yourself. But if you're not living your truth, if you're living someone else's truth at the behest of your own interest, that might also be something where now Mars in Gemini is also allowing that air element of communication to come in to gain greater power, to gain greater authenticity. And that can be something as well where throughout the second half of 2024, astrologically speaking, there are some things to be mindful of, including a Mercury retrograde that's going to be precious, not because it's a retrograde, but because of the aspects that it's making, which I can speak on now for a moment, but I will be talking about it more come August. But second of all, Mars is going to be retrograde at the end of 2024 in primarily the sign of Leo. So there's this overarching energy where, and I spoke about this during the first part of this Capricorn full moon breakdown, this can be like a sliding door energy, or it's your opportunity to hop on the train and understand what work needs to be done, what healing needs to be done. Because remember, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. We currently have Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, if you've been feeling exhausted, if you feel like you need extra support can definitely be tied in with Saturn in terms of these structures that we need to feel safe, to then open up, to then get the rest that we need, to then understand what we are going through, to make sense of it. So this is an additional reminder that if you were feeling a lot during this Capricorn full moon, or even just during Cancer season as a whole, what type of support is needed? What type of truth are you attaching yourself to? What is it that you need? Your body, your home, your emotional well-being, that nurturing, all of these domains that are linked with the moon. Of course, it's going to be different for everyone based on your own natal chart, based on where Capricorn it is in your chart. But there's so many aspects, even if we're looking today with it now being Leo season, the sun is now also making that opposition to Pluto. The moon is separating from Pluto. We still have Mars there as well. And the moon was aspecting Jupiter. I had a lot of appointments earlier today, and so many people are saying they feel better, they feel peaceful. And I really do think that's a testament to the moon having that really strong aspect to Jupiter while still in her full moon phase. So this is something as well that you can compare and contrast how you felt over the weekend, how you're feeling now, Monday, Tuesday, and what are you intuitively feeling called to connect to, whether it be a frequency, whether it be a healer, whether it be a truth, whether it be your dream. This is really going to be advantageous, because then once the moon is going to connect with Saturn, which was the ruling planet of that full moon in Capricorn, which is going to be Wednesday for most of us, then it can be something that, because sometimes moon Saturn aspects can be tricky, they can be causing us to slow down, there can be delay, there can be restriction. But from my vantage point, this could be another clue, or maybe offer some resolution, some clarity, some closure on these major Capricorn full moon themes that you were encountering and moving throughout Cancer season. All right. So that is primarily what I wanted to speak on. As I was mentioning with this Mercury retrograde, it's already in its pre-retrograde shadows. Remember, we do not fear retrogrades here at Still Water Alchemy. However, if we're looking at the end of the month, moving into the beginning of August, before it stations retrograde, we do see that Mercury is facing these squares to Mars and Jupiter by sign-based aspect. And then it's also opposing Saturn. None of these are inherently bad, but given that Mercury has to deal with both of the malefic planets, we want to ensure, while right now, July 22nd, before we get to that retrograde period, if you're feeling called to get things in order, for you to acquire the truth, to set up proper boundaries, that we're doing it now so that you can slow down and chill later. That would be, if we're going to use a travel analogy, which I feel is appropriate for Mercury. Let's say you book all your hotels, all the flights are confirmed, you're ready to go on the trip. So the day before you leave for the trip, if you have to do a whole bunch of errands, it's not a big deal because everything's already booked, everything's already scheduled. You're good to go. You know that you're safe. You know when you land in your city, you know what hotel to go to. You already have things on the itinerary. You're good. But imagine if you're like, oh, we'll just do it when we get there, and everything is up in the air before you leave. There's these delays. Now your friend that you're going with wants to go to a completely different city. You're trying to rebook flights. You're trying to get the accommodation. Plus, all these things are now on your lap the day before you leave, and you have to go here, go there, go everywhere. Of course, you can handle the latter situation and make it work. But if you're already feeling overwhelmed, it would be easier to know that you're taken care of and provided for. So when you go on the trip, it can be a period of relaxation. It can be a period of retrospection. It can be a period of where you're just reading a book on the beach or going for a walk and enjoying that downtime, enjoying the time to slow down compared to trying getting everything done. And if we just take away the travel analogy and we think of summer plans, or if we think of business expansion, or if we think of relationships, if you intuitively are feeling pinged already to start shifting and to start moving and having certain conversations and investing energy in certain directions, it will make that retrograde period so much easier. And I know this is a bit of a sidebar to what we're discussing, but it really isn't, because again, if we're talking about Capricorn themes of ensuring that you are grounded and supported, this full moon is more than just your typical full moon. One, it's that blue moon energy. It was the second full moon in Capricorn during Cancer season. So you can, again, look at that Cancer Capricorn axis, which we've discussed during part one's video. But second of all, it's Capricorn can sometimes be that tough love or a bit more stern or disciplined, but it wants you to succeed. It wants you to see things through to completion, and having the ample tools and resources to get there is only going to ensure greater victory, or at the very least, save you a lot of time, which is strongly connected to Capricorn and thus Saturn. Now, just to go over a few things I've discussed in the past, thank you for all those that commented on the Cancer new moon breakdown regarding live lunar workshops or a subscription-based service. Intuitively, I'll know by September. I'm going to give myself Mercury retrograde, given that Mercury is my Time Lord this year, to rework things, to get the proper structures in order to facilitate that. And I feel like with Virgo season, that's a very apt time to get that all going in September. And number two, if you are wanting further support, I have a couple more spots open for this upcoming Saturday for one-on-one sessions, and one question readings are also available if you want to sneak in and ask a question. I'll probably be taking more professional time off in August to get the back end ready for new things to come in the fall. So those one question readings will be open until the end of the month, and then they'll probably be unavailable for the month of August. So if you want some extra clarity, this would be a fabulous time to do so. That's all I got for today. Please let me know in the comments if there's any fun Capricorn full moon stories on your end, themes of death and rebirth, closings, new beginnings, clarity, structure, anything to do with Capricorn and Saturn. You know I'm always going to be a massive fan of. Wishing you all a fabulous start to your Leo season, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.